friends, it's good to see you again today. Today we have our parable box. And so that means that the story that you hear today will be a story that Jesus told. You know, there once was an amazing man who told amazing and wonderful stories. He was so wonderful that people began to follow him. And they would hear the things he would teach about God and about God's kingdom. And one day, someone asked him a question. He said, "Jesus, what's the most important thing in life?" And Jesus said, "You already know the answer." And the person said, "You're right. I know I'm supposed to love the Lord my God with all my heart, my mind, my strength, and my soul, and that I should love my neighbor too." But then he thought for a minute, and then he asked, "Jesus, who is my neighbor?" And so Jesus told a parable. There once was someone who went from Jerusalem down to Jericho. As he went along his way, he was attacked by robbers. They hurt him and took everything he had and left him by the side of the road, half dead. There was also a great priest of the temple who went on the road from Jerusalem down to Jericho. As he went along the way, he came to the place where the traveler who had been hurt had everything taken from him and had been left by the side of the road half dead. When the priest came to him, the priest went to the other side of the road and went along his way. There was also someone who worked at the temple who went from Jerusalem down to Jericho. He was one of the people who helped the priest. He took care of the temple and helped with his music. He was called a Levite. When the Levite came to the place where the traveler was who had been hurt, had everything taken from him, and had been left by the side of the road half dead, he went to the other side and went on his way. But there is more. There was also a person on the road who did not live in Jerusalem. He was visiting from a country called Samaria. The people in Samaria did not like the people of Jerusalem, and the people in Jerusalem did not like the people from Samaria. When the stranger came to where the traveler was who had been hurt, had everything taken from him, and had been left by the side of the road half dead, the stranger went to help him. The stranger put medicine on the places where the person was hurt. He gave him a coat and he picked him up and put him on his donkey. And he took him to an inn to spend the night and to heal. The stranger even stayed with him all that night. And then in the morning he gave the innkeeper enough money for him to stay there until he was well. Now I wonder, who is the neighbor to the traveler? Is he the neighbor? Is it this one? Is it this one? Is it this one? Or this one? Wonder who is the neighbor to the priest? Is it this one? Maybe this one? Or this one? Who is the neighbor? I wonder what would be different in the story if all of the characters were women. I wonder what would be different in the story if the person who was hurt and had everything taken from him and was left on the side of the road, what if this person was a child? Hannah, that artwork was so great. Thank you so much for sharing it with us and for giving us a really good example of what generosity can look like. And then you know what else? The thought and the time and the work that you put into that artwork for us to be able to help us today, that was very generous of you today too. So thank you. Guys, how will you reflect today on this story, on this parable about the Good Samaritan? How will you reflect? Will you think of something kind and generous that you can do? Or maybe you'll draw a picture and want to share it with us too. I'd love to hear the ways that you think about the Good Samaritan and his kindness and his generosity. I'll see you again next week, guys. I love you. Bye.